Atlanta, Georgia, July 7th, 2026. Mercedes-Benz Stadium is packed to the rafters. Argentina is down 2 goals in a World Cup knockout match, and their title defense is 25 minutes from being over. Then, in the span of 11 minutes, everything flips. A comeback, a stoppage-time winner, and a referee's decision that will follow this tournament for weeks. This is the story of one wiped-off goal, one furious head coach, and a completely separate controversy involving the President of the United States that somehow ends up tangled in the same conversation. Let's start with the match itself. Egypt draws first blood in the 15th minute. Center-back Yasser Ibrahim rises above everyone and heads it home. 1-0. Egypt is dominating, and the crowd, expecting a coronation for Lionel Messi's Argentina, goes quiet. In the 58th minute, Egypt thinks they've scored again. Mustafa Ziko finishes off a breakaway. The stadium erupts, except it doesn't count. VAR steps in. Here's what happened. Referee François Letexier let the goal stand in real time. Then the review room flagged something. A foul by Egypt's Marwan Attia on Argentina's Lisandro Martinez. The problem? That foul happened almost 3/4 of the length of the pitch away from the goal, roughly 10 seconds and several passes earlier. Letexier walks to the sideline monitor, watches it back, and reverses his own call. No goal. Free kick to Argentina instead. Naturally, everyone with a broadcast microphone has an opinion. Fox Sports' Rob Green questions whether a foul that far up the pitch should even be inside VAR's jurisdiction. Former Premier League referee Mark Clattenburg backs him up, pointing at just how long that passing sequence was. But Fox's own officiating expert, Dr. Joe Macknick, disagrees entirely. He says once that foul leads directly into the same attacking phase that produces a goal, it doesn't matter how many passes came between. Under the actual laws of the game, the goal has to go. 2 very credentialed opinions, 2 opposite conclusions. Welcome to modern football. Egypt shrugs it off, because 9 minutes later, Zico does it again. A near-identical goal. 2-0 Egypt. Crisis apparently averted, except it isn't over. Argentina spends the rest of the half chasing a game that's slipping away. Then, in the 79th minute, Christian Romero heads one back. 2-1. 4 minutes after that, Messi, of course it's Messi, equalizes. 2-2. The match is now barreling toward extra time. And then, the 2nd minute of stoppage time. Enzo Fernández slots it past the goalkeeper. 3-2. Argentina. Game over. For Egypt, the final 25 minutes weren't just about one disallowed goal. They were 4 separate flashpoints, back to back to back. First, seconds before Argentina's winner, Egypt appeals that Alexis McAllister grabbed Hamdi Fathi inside the box. Play waves on. According to ESPN's VAR panel, reviewing it would have meant disallowing Argentina's imminent goal on one end and awarding Egypt a penalty on the other from that same sequence. VAR ruled the contact didn't clear the bar for a clear and obvious error, so neither outcome gets reviewed at all. Second, later still, Mohamed Salah goes down under a challenge from Julian Alvarez, appealing for a penalty of his own. Same result. No clear error, no review. Third, Egypt picks up 4 yellow cards across the match, including one for head coach Hossam Hassan, who spends much of the second half arguing with the referee. 4 incidents. 4 decisions that all break the same direction. And Egypt's camp had already objected to Letexier as the referee before the match even kicked off, a detail Hassan brings up again afterward, pointedly noting that Letexier is French, and Argentina beat France in the 2022 final. So, after the final whistle, Hassan doesn't hold back. He says his team suffered an injustice. He suggests FIFA wanted Messi's run to continue. Forward Mustafa Ziko goes further, calling the whole thing rigged. Decided, in his words, by factors that had nothing to do with what happened on the pitch. Here's the thing, though. No evidence has surfaced that this match was manipulated. What Egypt has is one contested VAR reversal and a cluster of borderline calls in the final minutes. not proof that anyone interfered with the officials. And independent analysts, remember, were split right down the middle on the Zico reversal itself. There's also a detail Egypt's own camp hasn't addressed. They led 2-0 with 25 minutes left on the clock, and they conceded 3 goals in that window. One reversed goal doesn't explain a 2-goal collapse by itself. The frustration is real. The accusation of a fixed result is a different claim, and right now, that claim has nothing behind it. But here's why Hassan's comments landed as hard as they did. This wasn't happening in a vacuum. Just 2 days earlier, FIFA had made one of the most disputed calls of the entire tournament, and it didn't even involve Egypt or Argentina.
American forward Folarin Balogun gets sent off during the USA's round of 32 win over Bosnia and Herzegovina. VAR review shows him landing on the back of defender Tarek Muharamovic's leg mid-challenge. It looks incidental, not reckless. US MNT coach Mauricio Pochettino calls the red card unjust on the spot. Teammate Weston McKennie says he's seen worse go unpunished elsewhere in the tournament. Normally, a World Cup red card means an automatic one-match ban. No appeal, final. Instead, FIFA's disciplinary committee reaches for Article 27, a clause that lets them suspend a punishment for a probationary period. They set that period at 1 year. Balogun doesn't sit out a single match, unless he reoffends before next summer. Then it gets bigger. According to CNBC and the New York Times, President Donald Trump personally calls FIFA President Gianni Infantino and asks him to review the suspension. U.S. officials reportedly hand over additional evidence to FIFA's disciplinary process. FIFA insists the decision was made independently by the committee. Full stop. For what it's worth, Article 27 wasn't invented for this moment. It had already been used about a year earlier to delay a 3-match ban for Cristiano Ronaldo. So the tool existed before the phone call. Still, the backlash is immediate. UEFA says FIFA crossed a red line. Belgium's federation files a formal challenge after Balogun plays and helps beat them 4-1 in the round of 16. FIFA rejects it, ruling Belgium was never part of the original case and has no standing to appeal. England's federation starts quietly looking into a similar red card shown to their own defender, Jarell Quansah, just in case Article 27 turns out to be something teams can lean on more than once. 2 completely different disputes, 2 completely different rule books. One is about a paused suspension. The other is about a reversed goal. They're not proven to be connected in any way, but the timing does the talking. A tournament that had already produced one accusation of political interference at the highest level meant that when a second controversial decision landed 2 days later, against a different team on a different continent's storyline, it didn't read as a routine officiating complaint anymore. It read as a pattern, whether or not one actually existed. As for Argentina, the story moves forward regardless. They face Switzerland in the quarterfinals on July 11th at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Win that, and a semifinal against the winner of Norway and England awaits back in Atlanta on July 15th. Egypt goes home, and the debate over what actually happened in those final 25 minutes goes with them.